In the rain, my angel came. In the rain, my angel came. In the rain, my angel came. How y'all doing? I'm just sitting here, oh, still missing you. Thunder roar, giving me the blues. I remember the times I love my song. Listen to that voice. That's not me, obviously. Beautiful. Girl can sing. Angel Rain. Good evening. Welcome to another Monday. Conversations with the Masterful Raconteur. I'm your host, Florida's own Barry S. McLeod, truly the right kind of different. My podcast is brought to you by bbinging.com, bbinging.com, where you can go and watch some original content like film, movies, different genres, comedy, suspense, thriller, drama, and you can stage plays, documentaries, music videos like this one. Man, just some good stuff on there. So when you get a chance, go to bbinging.com. That's spelled BBINGN.com, okay? Now, before I jump in, I want to just tell y'all about my upcoming events, okay? The Florida Storm Comedy and Jam Tour is hot. I'm telling you, it's hot. It's full of tornado laughter, hurricane laughter, tidal wave laughter. And it's coming to Gainesville March 21st, which is in 2 weeks, man. 2 weeks inside the Cotton Club Museum and Cultural Center. So tickets are available at eventbrite.com. And you can also inbox me or give me a call at 352-371-2700, and I can save you some money on your ticket, okay? The following week, which is going to be the 28th, we'll be back in Dunellen at the 900 Club, man. They love us over there. We're doing it's just so much fun over there in Dunellen. A little small town, small community, good people, really good people. It's just our crowd, safe. Everything is just cool, and it's really, really special. So save them dates, and hopefully we'll be coming to your city somewhere in the near future, okay? Now, what do I want to talk about today? See, I was sitting down today. I was processing this thing, right? I went and filled my gas tank up in one of my vehicles today, and I was looking at the price difference. I was talking with some really, really good friends of mine this morning, and the question was presented to me, Barry, what do you think about the high gas prices? And I'm not as sharp in some areas as I should be. So I was thinking, on a day-to-day basis, really, truthfully, I don't ever really know what gas prices are. The only thing I know is when I get to the pump, I buy the gas, I'm thankful that I can afford the gas that I buy. But I never really pay attention to how much it costs. Like, I glance at it, I have an awareness of it. If you were to really challenge me, I could probably tell you within a dime or so what gas prices are. But that's just one of the things I just don't really keep up with. So when I was asked by my friends this morning what I thought about the gas prices, that's when I really thought, I knew gas prices were up, right? I knew they were up, But how much more per gallon is gas at the pump, I really didn't know. I've been hearing things on the news. Gas is up 50 cents, and barrels of gas are going up $100 a barrel. I don't really know, but it's when I really it kind of stayed on my mind, like how much is gas. So then I knew that I needed to fill my tank up this morning. So excuse me. Um, at lunch, I went and I filled my tank up, and that's when I saw what the price of gas is today. And I was listening to this guy on the news saying that gas is just high and this is unprecedented. And I thought to myself, unprecedented. Now I'm not happy about the price of gas going up. In fact, I feel like most normal people, like I think it's too high. And I think in a country that boasts the wealth that we have and being the best country in the world with all the resources that we have access to, I just think that we should have the lowest gas prices. But now, when I reflect back to when President Bush was in office, I think HW, the last Bush, gas prices went up in our area here in Florida. Gas prices was like at the threshold of $5 a gallon. So this what's happening now is not unprecedented. Uh, in fact, when I was filling my tank up today, the guy that works at the store, he was putting labels on the pumps, and we had a little small conversation, and we were talking about this, and I was saying, man, when we were uh, five, may as well say $5 a gallon out in California and places like that, gas was like $7 and higher a gallon, and he was saying that he remembered that it's not too long ago gas in California was $7 a gallon. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But here's what I have to think. This is what has me scratching my big head. And I would like some feedback on this. I would love some feedback on this because, see, the American people, we are so naive. We watch the news and we roll with whatever the news says, okay? So we say, okay, the reason gas is high right now is because of the war in Iran, right? Now, the war just started. How much, I mean, just because the war is in Iran, I got a bigger point that I want to make here. But just because the gas went up in Iran, does that mean that we have a shortage of gas? The last I heard, we have an abundance of gas already. The last I heard, we're not necessarily dependent upon Middle East oil. But I get it. We need oil from the Middle East, okay? But I get it. You know, we need to continue to do business with oil from the Middle East. But last I heard, we have gas in other places right here in the United States. We have access to gas in Canada, even though relationships with Canada and the United States are strained right now. But we have access to gas. So why should the gas just go up just like that because there's a war going on in Iran? See, that's hustle. That's the big boys hustling us. Okay, that's all you got to do is say there's a war, and the price of oil per barrel is going up, and so we have to immediately go up on the price of gas at the pump where you buy your gas. That's some bogus stuff. You hear me? That's bogus. You know, I could see it if the war had been going down for 6 months or more. You know, and we haven't been getting gas or oil, rather, from the Middle East or whatever amount that we normally get. We haven't been getting it, but the war had just started. We should not be in jeopardy of our oil. But here is my point, my bigger point. I had to say all of that to set up my bigger point about gas prices, oil prices. Now, let us not forget, we just recently went over to Venezuela and took over these people's country and took control of their oil production facilities. Let that resonate with somebody right now. Venezuela is supposed to be the number one oil producing country in the world. You see how naive we are? You see how soon we forget? We just went over there, took their president down along with his wife. We have them in custody. We put our people in place to control their country, to make decisions about who their next leader is going to be. And we immediately, at the same time, we took control of their oil production. In fact, Cuba is feeling the stress right now because the relationship between the United States and Cuba is not very good. And Cuba is very much dependent on the oil from Venezuela. Now, I haven't done any research on this. I'm going by what the news is reporting. So if I'm wrong and I apologize. But if I am right, if the news reporting on these matters are correct, then let's just put this in real perspective here. Let's put this in real perspective. If we just recently went over to the number one oil producing country and took it over, we have total control over their oil production. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want to give somebody a chance to process this, really. Because there's always going to be somebody going to come up with some kind of explanation as to this and that. But ask yourself the real question. If you go to another country, the number one oil producing country in the world, and you take over their oil production, you have full control of it. Now you also go to war with Iran, and you telling us, we, the American people, that we have to pay more at the pump. Somebody is bamboozled. It's not me. It's not me. I see this big picture very clearly. I don't care what a politician would say. I'm speaking from an everyday American, a normal person. If we got control over the best oil in terms of the region, the location where the oil, the resources are the main resources compared to the whole world, we have total control over it, and we have total control of the government. You cannot tell me that because we are also in a war with Iran that our gas prices have to go up, because we have direct and immediate control and access to the number one regional location where oil is. So somebody is full of SHIT. I don't know how this works in the political structure. I kind of do. But I don't know all the ins and outs and all the particulars about it. But somebody telling the American people a lie. Somebody is BSing us about this gas. It's sort of like It's sort of like, uh, you know, if I borrow some money from you, you know, I say, hey, look here, I want to borrow $10. Okay. Now you got $10 of my money, and you tell everybody in your circle that you under stress and you need them all of them to give you $20. Something wrong with that picture. See, that's a very, very minute uh, example that makes no sense almost, but to somebody that you get my point. You have, and you have in abundance, but you're going to pretend that you need more, and you're utilizing a particular situation to justify it. There's no way that our oil prices should be going up because of the war in Iran, okay? Um, in fact, once we took over the oil production in Venezuela, once we decided we were going to make that move as a country, and we did it, at that point, we should have been making provisions that should have manifested either by now or in the very near future, that gas prices were going to be coming down for Americans having absolutely nothing to do with the war in Iran. Think about that. Think about that. We being conned, man. We being conned. You know, people who are rich, they don't particularly care about the small people who they make their money from. They don't care about our complaints. You know, they basically want to make sure that we're in a position that we can make money and spend it back. That's the number one thing. If we're ever in a position where we can't make the money, then there's a problem for the rich. But so long as we're in a position where we can make the money via our jobs or whatever, and then we can spend the money back into society via businesses, et cetera, medical, whatever, healthcare, whatever, then um, um, so long as that system is working, they're fine, and they're constantly looking at more ways that they can milk the cow. It's basically what it is. That's, the people who have all of this money and all of this power and all of this control, they are not demonstrating. I'm talking about gas now, and this trickles over into some other categories as well. But just let's not get distracted. Let's stay with the gas. You're making all of this money, you filthy rich, making all of this money, and you're not sharing the money with the people who vote for you, the people who you say you represent, the people who you say value the country. And the crazy thing about all of that is this right here. The United States is so divided. It's so divided. And the people that's on this side and the people that's on that side are so busy confusing themselves with various emotions simply because they want to take a certain side, while at the same time, all of us are suffering the same consequences. Because regardless of what if you're red, blue, or independent, the gas pump says the same price wherever you are. The grocery prices, health care. Come on now. As my good friend said in the church house, come on, somebody. You know, this is real, y'all. You know, I'm one of the first people who will say, what's with all the pointing out the problems and 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 uh and complaining and criticizing this and that. Where's the solution? Well, I can't say that I have a solution. I think that I have a grand idea for a solution, but it would take for the people to come together in a very, very smart way. Don't take getting out there marching up and down the street. Don't take all of that. It's just a matter of getting on the same page. Because one thing I do believe wholeheartedly about the powers that be, people that have money, so long as you are not affecting their money, you have no leverage. You don't even have a chance at leverage. Trust me. So long as you're not affecting somebody's money, the powers that be, you have no chance at leverage. The only thing you can do is just go around in circles complaining about this and complaining about that. Okay? And you're not gonna really have any realistic positive improvement because you don't have a real plan. And the only way you can get some leverage, because you can't take over, because the powers that be they're not gonna allow that. But to get the powers that be to say, hey, wait a minute, hold it. You're doing too much now. You're taking too much from it. I'm talking about individually, every American individually coming together collectively saying that. And if you don't stop, this is what we're going to do. And it's a sound, solid, realistic vision and plan and campaign. We're just going to be going around in circles. Okay. But I just wanted to say that because I hope that there's somebody out here that will, enough people out here that will think about that for a second. So, wait a minute. Now, you're right. He's right. We just went and took over Venezuela, the largest oil producing region, country in the whole world on earth. That's what they said. Okay. We just took it over, and gas prices didn't come down as a result of that. But as soon as we went to war with Iran, gas prices went up. Something is wrong with this picture. I'll leave y'all with that. Think about it. So somebody watching, maybe you start the conversation. Maybe you start talking to your local leaders, and maybe you start talking to your state leaders and saying, hey, look, we ain't stupid now. You know, we see this and we're not happy about this, and we are going to have to do something about this. So now either we are going to sit down at the table and have a conversation, or y'all going to fix it and show us that improvements are being made and start saving us some money, or we got to start talking about something on a grander scale. So anyway, want to send a shout out there. I'm gonna let me see. Want to send a shout out there to Geraldine touching in with me. That crazy Uncle Clean touching in with me. What do you say? Barry the Gas got me looking at him like bikes. Can't see the whole complete side of the screen here. I don't want to. Bikes, the base is riding. Okay, I can't really make out everything that you typed in there clean. Geraldine says the Arab is in control where the fuel needs to come through the Gaza Strip. They're bombing where the fuel strips needs to come through. I'm fully aware of that. Fully aware of that. Okay, and it said Trump is trying to be in control of the narrow strip from Venezuela. See, that's a risky thing because according to the news, China gets 20% of their oil from Iran coming through that little strip. So China paying attention very close attention to what's going on. And if I had to predict it, I would say that China is probably sitting back thinking, okay, well, uh, if Trump or the United States go a little too far with this, then we're going to have to uh, intervene. But let's see how it's going to play out, because they're talking about changing the country over and the leadership. I think today they said that the leader who was assassinated, murdered, uh, his son is taking over. So this, I don't know if that means a regime change or not, or whatever it's going to be. But I'm sure all the countries, including China, are probably looking at it and saying, okay, let's see how this plays out, because then they have a better opportunity to strategize and see how they can maneuver. So that would be a smart move. But we cannot underestimate the fact that China would not be pleased if they could not still get their 20% of oil from Iran. There's no way they're going to be happy about that. So this thing is huge. But like I say, here at home, at our gas pumps, our prices of gas absolutely should not be going up like it is. What's up, Laverne? Good to see you, girl. Looking forward to seeing you at the show. And it looks like we got Milwaukee in the house. Okay. Who else we got here? Milwaukee just had a birthday. Had a great time. I saw that. Glad you had a wonderful time. And okay, there was a couple other names. I done lost it on the screen. Typically, what I do is when I finish up, I go back and I look and I respond. I respond to everybody. But y'all tell me what you think. Do you think I'm far-fetched? Do you think I'm far-fetched? If we control in Venezuela, the biggest oil resource, if we're controlling it, why are we paying high prices at the pump just because we're in war with Iran? Think about that. Florida's own Barry S. McLeod. Truly the right kind of different. I'll see y'all at the show. Y'all inbox me for those tickets. And don't forget, you can bless a guest. You can buy a ticket for somebody else. Somebody that's been good to you. Somebody that's been good to you. Somebody that deserves a treat. Bless them. Buy a ticket for them. Even if you don't come. Even if you don't live in the area and you got a family member or somebody, or you want to cash out me or Zelle me at 352-371-2700, $25 for a ticket, I will make sure. And I have a list of people that I think are deserving, and I'm going to do everything that I can to bless some guests. In fact, Miss Gloria Lee from the late great Florida folk artist Ernest M. Lee, and the Ernest M. Lee art. I forget it. She told me the word is not foundation. It's another word, and I can't think of what it is right now. Gloria, if you're listening, I apologize. But they have already blessed 4 people with tickets for the show, and I thank you so very much. Florida's own band is still jamming, y'all. And if you need a band that plays that real old school R&B music, blues and soul, jazz, hit me up. We're going to be doing the Fifth Avenue Arts Festival. We'll be doing the Archer Arts Festival. We'll be doing Juneteenth in Gainesville. So sad that we couldn't go down to Cocoa because the dates conflicted. They wanted us down there pretty strongly, and unfortunately, we were not able to do it because it was a date conflict. And then, but we got some special occasions coming up, and so yeah, we're on the roll, y'all. We're on the roll. Florida's own Barry S. McLeod touching out. Y'all stay blessed.